confusion at the moment out there with medical herbalists on, hemp seed oil that you buy in a 250 ml bottle versus things that are labeled hemp seed oil that are 30 mils.
And they're expensive.
And are expensive versus, CBD oils that people might be trying to order from Amazon that we know are contain prescription medicine, and but people are still ordering them from the States and things like that. So there's just a lot of confusion. So the
question is, can you explain the difference between hemp oil products on the market available to medical herbalists, hemp seed oil versus CBD oil? There's three types of oils that you're talking about there. The hemp seed oil that's in 250 mils or 500 that you can easily buy from Pack and Save or Countdown or somewhere like that. Then there's the CBD oil that people are buying overseas, and they're usually extractions where they take the whole plant and they'll just extract the CBD out of it and then produce that for sale. And the quality and efficacy of that type of oil would vary from low-cost Chinese variant to a high-priced French one or something.
Gotcha.
Right? Okay, now the third one. I produce an oil. This is my base product. And
Gotcha.
It's called Green Fairy.
Yep.
Okay, and just quickly, that is the whole plant plus the seed oil. It's called Green Fairy. Yep. And that's our base oil. And then from there, we would have a variation of that with some different oils. And and so this one's called Sleepy Time, and this one will have this Green Fairy as the base plus some Ayurvedic herbs.
All right. Cool.
And Ayurvedic herbs are Sapaganda, which is an anti-inflammatory, Brahmi, which is a memory enhancer. You probably call it Bacopa.
Yeah.
And Shank Pushpi, which is an anti-stress and anti-restlessness and anti-depression herb.
Cool.
And so we put those all together. Yeah, so we put those all together, and you get an effective food supplement. So it's not really a drug. Like we don't pass it off as a drug, and we don't claim that it's a drug. But it will, like this one, it will have high CBD in it, just by virtue of it being a hemp plant. So if you know,
gotcha.
So,
but those are the type of products that we're really familiar with as medical herbalists. These versus these highly pharmaceuticalized, really isolated extracts that are then put back together. These type of products. This is what medical herbalists would like to work with. Food products that fit more in a food type category, but are still therapeutic in their effect. These are the type of products that in the future, if hemp plant could be regulated as a food, we would love to have access to recommend to our patients.
Yeah. There's no reason why it shouldn't be, because it's in a lot of different countries now. Like most Western countries have accepted it, stepped over the line, and CBD in food is acceptable.
Yeah. And who's ever going to use?
And that's all we're asking. That's all we're asking for here in New Zealand. Can we just be like the other Western countries? Thanks.
That's right. And there's no risk, there's no adverse effects, and there's no risk of abuse either. Who's going to buy that to go and get high down the park with their mates? Like, no one. It's ridiculous.
No one. Exactly. Yeah. Okay, so here's a little diagram that I show people. Can you see that?
Yep.
Okay, basically what it's saying there is hemp is low in THC and high in CBD, and marijuana is the other way around. It's high in THC and low in CBD. So if you're seeking CBD, hemp is actually your best and first point of call.
Yep.
You got a question here. What is needed from the government to make the hemp industry flourish? And basically, what we need is the government to just get out of the way. And at the moment, they have banned CBD and anything because the CBD is a drug.
Yeah.
And
so it really needs the CBD to be declassified.
That's exactly right. It needs to be declassified, not as a drug, but as just a food supplement.
As a food. Yeah.
Just like it is in all of these other Western countries. And if that was done, that would be so beneficial to New Zealanders. And anybody who that makes that type of oil, I would recommend it.
Yeah.
Right, you got another question here. Is it true that plants absorb toxins like heavy metals from the soil? How do you mitigate this?
Yeah, we've heard that hemp is particularly good, like can be used to, to actually heal the land by removing heavy metals, but we're just curious as to if that creates a hazard in the plant itself.
Yeah, I can't.
Heavy metal content.
I can't comment on it too much because I don't know too much about it, and I don't believe that the scientists know a lot about it either.
Right.
But let me tell you what I do know. So you remember the nuclear plant called Chernobyl, and they had a reactor overheat or something, and then they had spillage, and then in the surrounding land it became contaminated. And so what they did was they planted hemp in the contaminated soil. And theoretically, I don't know if you can actually do this, but theoretically, you should be able to grow the hemp. It absorbs the isotopes out of the soil, and it breaks them down into their elements. Is it called the table of elements in chemistry? It breaks them down into that. And so theoretically, you can take the Chernobyl hemp, and once you've harvested it and everything, you can actually theoretically feed it to your stock. Now, don't take me word for word on
that. Right.
Yeah. So don't take me word for word on that. I can't prove it. I think it's anecdotal, but either way, it absorbs the contamination out of the soil, and whether it's lead poisoning or petrochemical poisoning or whatever it is, the hemp will absorb that out of the soil. Now, whether you take that hemp and use it for a food product after that's completely different.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Versus using it as compost or okay.
Or even just destroying it somehow. So, like, if it was me and I was in doubt, I would destroy it.
Yeah, gotcha. And I guess the risk of that bioaccumulation of heavy metals in terms of a future when hemp plant products are available would just be a matter of testing for heavy metals, wouldn't it? It would just be we've had a harvest, here's the test.
Yeah, and this is our green fairy, that's all tested like that so that we can be sure that we have a high class product.
Cool. So going back to that previous question about how we can actually have a flourishing hemp industry and getting CBD declassified, can medical herbalists and us as an organization help in that line? Like, what are you guys actually doing at the moment to
yes
as an industry to further that? And how do we put our voice to the other voices to help?
I haven't got a step-by-step plan for you, but I would say that yes, you can help, and us just being associated and talking about it, we're gonna, as we go through it, we're gonna stumble across a way that we can help each other.